You said you were tired. But tired of what? Doing nothing? You keep telling yourself you need rest, that you've done enough, that life's been hard on you. That's the same damn story you've been selling for years, and guess what? Nobody's buying it anymore. Not even you. You wake up, you hit snooze, you scroll, you eat, you talk about how tomorrow you change. But tomorrow never comes. You've been feeding your mind the same weak-ass excuses so long you started believing they were facts. And now, the mirror doesn't lie. You look in it and you hate what you see, not because you're ugly, not because you're broken, but because deep down, you know you quit on yourself. You keep saying you're busy. Busy doing what? Avoiding the work? You talk about stress, about how you don't have time, but somehow you got time for every distraction that keeps you soft. You're not tired, you're lazy. You're not burned out, you're uncommitted. You're not lost, you're comfortable, and comfort is killing you slow. Want to know why you can't sleep at night? Because that quiet moment before you close your eyes is the only time the truth gets a chance to speak. And the truth says, you could have done more today. The truth says, you lied again. You said you'd start, you said you'd change, and you didn't. That voice inside you, the one that whispers, it's okay, the one that says, take a break, that voice is your enemy. It's soft, it's sneaky, it's deadly. It's the weak mind. And that weak mind has been running your life like a coward commanding a warrior's body. You think life gives a damn about your feelings? Life doesn't care if you're tired, if you're scared, if you're not in the mood. The world only respects results. Pain respects effort. Progress respects suffering. Want to feel proud? Earn it. Want to feel peace? Bleed for it. There's no hack, no shortcut, no motivational quote that'll fix the mess you created by running from the grind. You fix it by waking up and facing that mirror every single day until the man staring back finally shuts up and listens. I remember when I was that guy. Every morning, same routine, talk big, do small. Blame the world, hide behind excuses. It's not the right time. I'm not ready. I'll start when things calm down. Newsflash, things never calm down. Life doesn't slow for your comfort, it speeds up when you hesitate. The moment you pause, the moment you flinch, the world moves past you like a freight train and you're left on the tracks wondering why nothing changes, because you didn't change. You got dreams? Everybody's got dreams. But the difference between dreamers and doers is simple. Pain tolerance. You talk about wanting success, but you don't want to suffer for it. You want the reward without the fight. You want the body without the discipline, the respect without the sacrifice. You want to be a lion, but live like a sheep. And that's why the weak mind wins, because it knows you'll choose comfort every damn time. Every excuse you make adds another brick to your prison. And you built that prison with your own hands. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you tighten the chains. Every time you say, it's not that bad, you hand the weak mind another weapon. Until one day, you wake up and realize you're trapped in the life you settled for, not the one you wanted. Let me tell you something. No one's coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not motivation, not me. You're alone in that ring, and your opponent is your reflection. You either swing back or stay down. The weak mind wants you silent, comfortable, average. It wants you scrolling, wishing, pretending. It wants you numb. You kill it by doing the things you don't want to do, by showing up when every cell in your body says quit, by embracing the boredom, the pain, the grind that nobody sees. That's where your real you lives. You ever wonder why people quit halfway? It's not because they can't. It's because they don't believe they can. Belief isn't built in comfort, it's built in suffering. Every time you suffer and survive, you rewrite your story. You turn the weak voice into background noise. That's what this journey is about. Killing the liar inside you. The one that says, you've done enough. The one that says, take a break. You silence that voice with action. You talk less and bleed more. The lies you tell yourself are not harmless, they're deadly. They destroy potential, kill momentum, erase years. Every lie steals a piece of your future. So stop lying, stop waiting, stop pretending. You don't need more motivation, you need more pain, because pain tells the truth. Pain says you're still alive, you're still capable, you're still in the fight. And if you listen to it long enough, it'll turn you into something unrecognizable, stronger, colder, sharper. So the next time that weak voice starts whispering, I want you to remember this moment. Remember how it felt to hear the truth. Remember that comfort never changed anyone. You're not tired. You're not done. You're just soft. And that softness is the enemy. You think you can fight the world? You can't even fight your own mind. And until you learn to win that battle, everything else will beat you. But if you decide right now that you've had enough of your own lies, if you decide that today's the day you stop negotiating with weakness, then we move. Because what's coming next isn't talk, it's war. The war inside your head. And only the disciplined survive. Every morning when that alarm hits, there's a war going on inside your head. And most of you lose before the day even starts. You hit snooze like a coward waving a white flag. You think that tiny decision doesn't matter? That's the first bullet fired in the war for your soul. Because the battle ain't out there. It's in here, inside your skull. Between the version of you that wants to rise and the weak one that just wants 5 more minutes of comfort. You ever notice how the weak voice doesn't yell? It whispers, smooth, sweet. It tells you it's okay to rest. It tells you you've done enough. It tells you you deserve a break. It speaks the language of soft men. And every time you listen, it wins another inch of ground inside your head. That ain't your friend. That voice is a damn assassin, and it's been living rent-free in your mind for years. You think you're fighting the world, your boss, your past, your circumstances, but the truth is, the only thing you're really fighting is yourself. The battlefield is mental. Every excuse you make, every reason you give, every time you look for the easy way out, you're letting the enemy in through the front gate. The weak mind is clever. It hides behind logic, behind comfort, behind fake positivity. It makes quitting sound reasonable, makes weakness sound like self-care. That's how comfort kills. Not with pain, but with pleasure. Slowly, quietly. You don't even notice it until one day you wake up and realize you've been coasting, that you've been sleepwalking through your own life. You're breathing, but you ain't living. You're surviving, but you ain't fighting. And that's how the weak mind wins. It turns warriors into victims. You ever been in the middle of a workout, lungs on fire, body screaming to stop, and that voice kicks in? You can't do it. This is too much. That's the weak mind testing your threshold. You don't run from that moment, you lean into it. You grab that pain by the throat and you choke the weakness out of it. That's how you build calluses on your soul. That's how you teach your body to shut up and listen to your will. See, discipline is not about control, it's about war. Every rep, every run, every cold morning is a chance to fire back. You train not for muscles, not for views, but to remind that inner bitch who's in charge. You train to send a message. You don't own me anymore. I remember the first time I heard my weak voice loud and clear. I was on a run, halfway dead, knees throbbing, heart ready to explode. Every step that voice screamed, stop. And I wanted to, but I didn't. Because I realized something. That voice only has power if you obey it. If you push past it once, it starts to fear you. Twice, it starts to shut up. You do it every damn day, it dies. Want to know why people never change? Because they never make it past that first mental wall. They turn around when it hurts. They negotiate with the enemy instead of destroying it. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. That's the weak mind signing the peace treaty with mediocrity. And you're better than that. You gotta be.
So what do you do when that voice shows up? You confront it. You answer back. When it says rest, you move faster. When it says you can't, you go anyway. You remind yourself that your body is built to obey, not to decide. You're the commander. That voice is just noise. You don't argue with it, you override it. But here's the truth no one wants to face. That voice never disappears completely. You can't delete it. You can only dominate it. Every day, it waits. Every morning, it tests your resolve. That's why comfort is so dangerous. It gives the weak mind a place to grow back. You stop training, it returns. You stop suffering, it feeds again. This war doesn't end, you just get stronger. There's beauty in that. Because the moment you realize the battle never ends, you stop hoping for easy. You start preparing for war. You stop chasing motivation and start chasing mastery. You stop being the victim of your thoughts and start being the architect of your mind. Every man has two voices. One says, let's keep going. The other says, we've done enough. Which one you feed decides your future. Feed the weak voice, you'll stay average forever. Feed the strong one, and you'll build something that can't be broken. But you've got to choose every single day. So tomorrow morning when that alarm goes off, understand what's at stake. It's not just a workout. It's not just a day. It's your mind on the line. The weak you and the real you are both waiting to see who shows up. You can roll over or you can rise up. You can keep living as a prisoner of that voice, or you can start the fight for your freedom. The weak mind doesn't quit because it's tired. It quits because it's scared. Scared of effort, scared of growth, scared of what happens when there's no one left to blame. But fear is fuel if you use it right. Fear is the spark that lights the fire. Pain is the weapon that sharpens your edge. You want to master your mind, stop running from pain and start training with it. You will lose some days. You'll fall. You'll fail. That voice will get louder. But the moment you decide that you'd rather die fighting than live listening, that's when the war starts to shift. That's when the weak mind starts to panic, because it knows it's losing control. Every battle won inside your head echoes out into your life. You walk taller, you move sharper, you stop doubting. That's what mental toughness really is. It's not about being fearless, it's about being relentless, even when you're terrified. So remember this, the war inside your head is the only war that matters. Win that, and you can face anything. Lose it, and nothing else will ever matter. Now that you see the enemy, it's time to kill it. You can't negotiate with weakness. You destroy it. That's the rule. That's the law. That's the only way you become something more than average. You don't reason with that voice in your head that says, take it easy. You choke it out. You bury it 6 feet under. Because weakness doesn't leave quietly. It fights, it screams, it begs for comfort. And most people give in. That's why they never change. You ever take a cold shower when your body's begging for warmth? That's war. You ever get up before the sun when your mind says sleep a little more? That's a kill shot to the weak version of you. Every rep, every run, every mile, that's not fitness, that's a weapon. That's how you sharpen your mind to cut through pain. You think this is about training your body? Nah, the body is just the tool. The real training is happening between your ears. When you suffer, you strip away everything fake. Pain doesn't lie. It doesn't care who you think you are, what excuses you've built, or what comfort you hide behind. Pain exposes the truth. It shows you exactly how soft you've become and how far you've got to go. And when you stop running from that truth, that's when the transformation begins. You want to kill the weak mind? Stop looking for motivation and start building discipline. Motivation is a spark. It dies fast. Discipline is fire. It burns forever if you feed it. Every morning, that weak voice will try to talk you out of the grind. And every time you ignore it, every time you move anyway, you put another nail in its coffin. That's how you kill weakness, slow, daily, with action. Most people think change happens in a big moment. It doesn't. It happens in the quiet, when no one's watching, when you're exhausted, bleeding, doubting yourself, and you still show up. That's where warriors are built, not in the spotlight, but in the silence. You want to see transformation? Look pain dead in the face and say, you don't own me. That's what I did. I took every scar, every insult, every failure, and I turned it into fuel. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I stopped hiding behind my story. My story became my weapon. My suffering became my blueprint. When I was broken, I didn't pray for an easier life. I built the mental armor to survive the hard one. Every run in the cold, every lift when my hands were bleeding, every night I wanted to quit but didn't, that was me killing my weak mind, one blow at a time. You don't fix weakness, you destroy it. You burn it until nothing remains but strength. You got to understand, your mind is a battlefield and pain is your drill instructor. It's the only teacher that never lies. It doesn't care about your feelings, it doesn't care about your past, it only cares about what you do next. Every time you endure what others avoid, you earn a stripe on your soul. Every day you push through the pain, you move from average to savage. This is where most people quit, right at the door of transformation. They think the pain means they're failing, but pain is the sign that you're evolving. You're killing who you were to make space for who you're becoming. You're burning weakness to forge strength. That's why it hurts. It's rebirth. You want the easy way out? Then accept being average. You want power? Then bleed for it. Killing the weak mind is not about hate. It's about liberation. It's about cutting the chains that keep you soft. Every time you face discomfort, you earn control. You take back what the weak mind stole. Your focus, your drive, your purpose. That's how you flip the switch. Comfort turns into chaos, and chaos becomes control. That's the transformation trigger. That's where you start to feel unstoppable. People ask, how do you stay hard every day? The answer's simple. You stay in the fight. You don't wait to feel like it. You make the choice before the voice. Because if you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Weakness thrives on hesitation. Discipline kills it in the first second. Every morning, remind yourself you're either killing the weak mind or it's killing you. There's no neutral ground. There's no middle. You either evolve or dissolve. You either lead yourself or you let fear run your life. And when you finally realize that the pain you've been avoiding is the same pain that's going to set you free, that's when the war starts to shift. That's when the weak mind starts to panic, because it knows it's losing control. This is what transformation really looks like. It's ugly, it's lonely, it's painful as hell. But on the other side of that suffering is power. You'll start to see the world differently. You'll stop chasing motivation and start chasing mastery. You'll stop fearing the storm because you'll realize you are the storm. That's how you kill the weak mind. Not with talk, not with quotes, with work, with sweat, with silence. You earn your strength in the hours no one sees. And every time you step into that pain, you're rewriting the story of who you are. But understand this, killing weakness isn't enough. Because once the weak mind is gone, something else must rise in its place. Something ruthless, something unbreakable, something built for war. The question is, are you ready to build the beast?
You don't need motivation, you need obsession. Motivation's for people who need a reason to start. Obsession's for those who refuse to stop. You think motivation's gonna get you out of bed when it's 4 a.m., raining sideways and your body's begging for rest? Hell no. Motivation dies the moment things get uncomfortable. Discipline, obsession, that's what shows up when everything else fades. That's what separates the beast from the average man. Most people want results without the repetition. They want strength without the struggle. They talk about goals like they're wishes. But the beast, he doesn't talk. He works. He bleeds. He suffers in silence and keeps coming back for more. Because the beast knows pain is not punishment. Pain is the blueprint. Every rep, every mile, every drop of sweat is another brick in the foundation of something unbreakable. You ever hear people say, "I'll start tomorrow"? The beast doesn't know what tomorrow means. There's only now. There's only this rep, this mile, this breath. The beast doesn't care if it's cold, if it hurts, if nobody's watching. That's when he thrives. In the dark, when no one claps, when no one believes. See, the beast is not born, he's built. Built through discipline, through thousands of moments where you could quit but didn't. You don't build the beast by doing what's comfortable. You build it by breaking yourself and rebuilding stronger. You tear down every excuse, every weakness, every soft habit, and replace it with purpose. You want to be unbreakable? Then stop running from the grind. You've got to fall in love with repetition, the same boring, painful, thankless reps that make everyone else quit. Because every time you repeat what hurts, you're teaching your mind that comfort has no power here. You're telling your body that pain is your home now. And when that mindset locks in, you become something else, something primal. Most people pray for success. Beasts train for it. You think Goggins got here by luck? Nah, he built himself from hell. He made suffering his sanctuary. When everyone else was crying about pain, he was thanking it for showing him who he was. That's what obsession looks like, when your goals stop being an option and start becoming your oxygen. Obsession doesn't mean you like it. It means you can't live without it. It means you've tied your identity to the grind. You wake up thinking about it. You fall asleep dreaming about it. And even when your body's broken, your spirit keeps pushing because you know you owe this to yourself. You owe this to the person you were before you quit. You owe this to the version of you that survived every failure, every scar, every night you thought about giving up. When you start building the beast, people around you won't understand. They'll call you crazy. They'll say you're doing too much. They'll say you've changed. Damn right you've changed, because you're not built like them anymore. You don't chase pleasure. You chase growth. You don't fear pain. You use it. You don't look for validation. You earn respect through work. You ever wonder why the beast never looks happy? Because he's too focused on becoming better. He doesn't care about approval. He doesn't need applause. The grind is his therapy. The pain is his proof. The silence is his comfort. Every mile on broken feet, every drop of sweat in the dark, it's all part of the transformation. Because every time you push through pain, you're teaching your mind one truth: you can't break me. When you build the beast, there's no switch to turn it off. The fire burns 24/7. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if you're tired, if the world's falling apart. You still show up. Because discipline doesn't need perfect conditions. It thrives in chaos. Motivation dies in comfort, but discipline grows in storms. Let me tell you something real. You don't become unbreakable by avoiding pain. You become unbreakable by embracing it, by standing in the fire long enough that it stops burning you and starts forging you. You become steel because you stayed in the heat longer than everyone else. And when you come out on the other side, you don't even recognize the weak version of you anymore. That version's gone, dead, buried under the miles, the reps, the sweat, the tears. The beast inside you is waiting for one thing: for you to stop negotiating with your comfort zone, for you to stop living half alive, half committed, half focused. It's waiting for you to flip the switch and say, I'm done living soft. Because once you commit fully, once you decide that the grind isn't a phase, but a lifestyle, the beast wakes up. And when it wakes up, nothing can stop you. You start to crave the hard days. You start to chase the pain because you know every ounce of suffering is building armor on your soul. You start walking different, thinking different, moving different. You stop chasing easy and start hunting impossible. That's when the beast is born, not when you win, but when you refuse to lose. And here's the thing, building the beast never ends. The moment you think you've arrived, the grind resets. There's always another mountain, another test, another layer of pain to conquer. Because greatness isn't a destination, it's a habit. And once you build the habit of staying hard, you become unstoppable. So next time you wake up tired, next time you feel broken, remember, the beast is being built right there. Not when you feel good, not when it's easy, but when every part of you wants to quit and you don't. That's when transformation happens. That's when the man inside becomes a machine. But don't get it twisted. The beast may be built, but every beast faces hell. And when hell comes knocking, that's when we'll see what you're really made of. Because the next test, that's where legends are born. Most people run from pain. I run toward it. Because that's where the truth lives. Pain ain't punishment. It's the purest form of honesty life will ever give you.
Pain doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, your stories. It strips you down to what you really are. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't pretend. It tells you exactly who's in control, the weak version or the warrior. You think pain is unfair? Nope. Pain is the most equal teacher in the world. It doesn't give a damn if you're rich, broke, talented, or lost. It shows up to test your threshold. Most people fail that test because they still believe comfort is safety. They think avoiding pain will protect them, but all it does is weaken their soul. You hide from pain long enough, you forget what strength even feels like. You forget what living feels like. Every great transformation starts in pain. Every beast is forged in fire. When it rains, when it hurts, when your lungs are burning and your legs feel like concrete, that's when life's watching. That's when your soul's taking notes. Pain is the filter that separates talkers from doers. You can't fake it. You can't cheat it. You can only face it or run from it. You ever wonder why suffering hurts so bad? Because it's growth disguised as punishment. Every time you suffer and keep going, something inside you changes. You get quieter, sharper, more dangerous. Every second you survive pain, you level up your soul. You start seeing the world differently. Problems become puzzles. Hardship becomes opportunity. You start craving the grind because it reminds you who you are. There's a moment in every struggle where your mind breaks before your body does. You'll hear that weak voice whisper, "Stop! You've done enough!" That's the moment that defines you. That's the split second where you either collapse back into comfort or break through into greatness. You push past that wall and suddenly the impossible starts to feel possible. That's not motivation, that's transformation. I remember running until my feet bled, until the pavement felt like fire. Every step screamed quit, but I realized something powerful. Pain doesn't last, but quitting does. Pain fades, but regret doesn't. Regret rots your soul from the inside. That's why I run toward pain, because I'd rather suffer now than live with regret forever. Pain is your mirror. It reflects your weaknesses, your lies, your limits. But if you face it long enough, that mirror starts showing something else. Who you could be. The strongest, most unstoppable version of you. Every time you embrace pain, you earn a piece of that version. You start stacking victories nobody sees. Mental victories, spiritual victories. You start becoming unshakable.
Most people look at pain as something to escape. Warriors look at pain as a roadmap. Every ache, every scar, every tear is a marker saying you're getting closer. Because pain means you're in the game. Pain means you're alive. Pain means you still have fight left. And the ones who stop running from it, they become untouchable. You think Goggins loved every run, every mile? Hell no. He didn't chase pain because it felt good. He chased it because it revealed the truth. Pain showed him the limits of his humanity and then dared him to go beyond it. That's the difference between normal and great. Normal feels pain and stops. Greatness feels pain and grows. When life knocks you down, pain is the only thing that can rebuild you stronger. Every breakdown you've ever had was a setup for a breakthrough. You just didn't know it yet. Every time you cried, every time you failed, every time you doubted yourself, that was life hammering the weakness out of you. That was your soul leveling up while your ego burned down. You want to know what real power is? It's not muscles, money, or fame. Real power is the ability to stay calm while everything hurts, to look pain dead in the eyes and say, do your worst. That's when pain becomes your ally. That's when you stop suffering from it and start learning from it. Because pain teaches discipline, pain teaches gratitude, pain teaches perspective. It shows you who deserves to be here and who doesn't. When you stop fearing pain, you stop being controlled by it. You start controlling it. You start using it as fuel. Every day becomes training. Every setback becomes data. Every wound becomes wisdom. And suddenly, you realize pain wasn't trying to destroy you. It was trying to introduce you to your potential. Suffering isn't a curse. It's your superpower. It's the switch that turns average men into animals. It's the process that turns fear into focus and weakness into will. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, get all the motivation you want, but until you learn to sit with pain and not flinch, you'll never know who you really are. Every scar you carry is proof you didn't back down. Every hardship you survived is evidence that you're stronger than you think. Stop hiding your pain. Use it. Build from it. Because one day, that pain you hated will be the reason someone else doesn't quit. One day, your suffering will be someone else's hope. That's how purpose is born, in the fire of your own struggle. You don't find strength by chasing comfort. You find it by embracing chaos. You find it by walking straight into the storm and realizing you are the damn storm. So the next time life hurts, don't ask why me. Ask, what is this trying to teach me? That's the mindset that builds monsters. That's how you turn suffering into superpower. But don't get it twisted. Surviving pain isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Because once you stop fearing pain, there's only one thing left to conquer: a life without excuses. You don't stop when you're tired. You stop when you're done. Most people don't understand what that really means. They quit when it burns, when it aches, when their body screams enough. But that's exactly where it begins. Right there, past the limit, past the comfort, past the excuses. That's where you find out who the hell you really are. That's where the pain line lives. Most people will never cross it. That's why they'll never know peace. You've been taught to play it safe, to slow down when it hurts, to avoid the struggle, avoid the suffering, avoid the grind. But that's the trap. The pain line is where life separates the weak from the willing. The ones who stop and the ones who keep going. The ones who make excuses and the ones who make history. Every time you pushed through exhaustion, every time you stared down fear and moved anyway, every time you faced failure and came back harder, you were crossing it. You were going beyond the pain line. That's not motivation. That's discipline. That's obsession. That's what it means to stay hard. You remember the lies you told yourself, the excuses, the soft voice that said, "Take it easy." That voice is dead now. You killed it. You faced a war inside your head. You fought the weak mind. You built the beast. You learned that pain wasn't your enemy. It was your greatest teacher. Every scar, every sweat drop, every broken moment, that was the price of freedom. You learned that pain isn't punishment. It's the process. It's the toll you pay to earn strength that can't be broken. You stopped fearing the fire and started walking into it. You learned that the pain line isn't where you die, it's where you're born. That's where comfort ends and greatness begins. There's something primal about crossing that line. Your body breaks, your mind screams, your soul burns, but you keep moving because you've learned that the pain doesn't define you. You define it. You've learned that the body has limits, but the mind doesn't. That suffering isn't weakness leaving the body. It's weakness being executed, one rep at a time. You've been through hell and came back standing. You faced fear, failure, and fatigue, and you didn't run. You embraced it. You owned it. That's what separates the warriors from the watchers. Everyone wants to be a beast until it's time to do beast things. Everyone wants to glory. Nobody wants to grind. But you chose to grind. You chose pain. You chose to be uncomfortable every damn day. You learned that the beast isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in silence, in the dark. When it's cold, lonely, and no one's cheering, that's where champions are born, in the hours no one sees. Because discipline doesn't care about applause. It only cares about execution. You've gone beyond your limits. You've gone beyond comfort. You've gone beyond pain. You've entered that rare space where only the obsessed survive, where you stop chasing motivation and start chasing mastery, where your body is broken, but your will is still unshakable. That's what it means to go beyond the pain line. Most people never reach this point. They tap out too early. They think pain means stop, when pain actually means go. Because on the other side of pain, there's peace. The peace of knowing you gave everything. The peace of knowing you didn't quit. The peace of knowing that when life tried to break you, you refused to bow. That's real freedom. Not comfort, not easy. Freedom is earned in blood, sweat, and tears. You owe this to yourself, to the person who got you here, to the version of you that didn't quit when everyone else did, to the moments when no one believed in you, when no one saw the work, when you were in the dark grinding with nothing but faith. That's who you did this for. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't you dare forget what it took to get here. Don't you dare go back to average. You built something most people never will, a mind that doesn't break, a spirit that doesn't fold, a soul that doesn't quit. Because this life, this fight, it doesn't end. There's no finish line. Every day you wake up, the war starts again. Every morning you got two choices: go back to who you were or keep becoming who you're meant to be. The weak mind will whisper, take a break. The strong one will growl, let's go again. Which one you feed decides everything. You're not chasing perfection anymore. You're chasing persistence. You're not chasing motivation, you're chasing obsession. You've learned that you don't need to feel ready, you just need to move. You've learned that discipline is louder than doubt, that purpose is louder than fear, that consistency is louder than fear. This is what it means to stay hard. It's not about never being tired. It's about never giving up. It's about being broken, but still dangerous. It's about standing in the middle of chaos and saying, I'm still here. You've crossed the pain line. You've gone beyond what most people can imagine. You faced hell, and you didn't just survive. You built yourself in it. You turned your suffering into strength, your scars into stories, your pain into power. So look at yourself. Every scar, every bruise, every ache, that's the proof you refused to quit. That's the proof you went beyond the pain line. And now, when the world looks at you, they'll know you're built different. No excuses, no mercy. Stay hard. Welcome to Beyond the Pain Line. Stay hard.